Welcome back to another episode of Spotlight on the Arts, the show brought to you by the Chicopee Cultural Council and ChicopeeTV. My name is Johnny Miranda, your host for the evening, and today we are celebrating 1 year anniversary of the Hispanic-American Library. We meet Juan Falcon as we dive into literary icons of modern history. The Hispanic-American Library at Union Station in Springfield is celebrating a 1 year anniversary. So we had to greet Mr. Juan Falcon, the director of such library, to come to our show and talk to us a little bit about what this journey has been. So let's welcome Juan Falcon. Juan, how are you?
Actually, I'm pretty good, Johnny. Good morning.
Thank you for being in our show. I'm so excited to have you. Congratulations on the 1 year anniversary for the Hispanic-American Library.
Thank you.
What does that mean to you?
That means that there's a lot of work to be done. Very appreciative of all the support during the year. There's a lot of people, very effective team that has put it together. And because of that team, I'm able to take credit. So I'm very appreciative of everyone who participated throughout the year.
And how did the library come about? I remember seeing it out in the media. It was a great celebration. It was very welcomed in Springfield. How did that come about? How did the library come about?
It's pretty interesting, Johnny. It took me, it was taken a little bit over 20 years. And being diligent on the go, because most people probably would given up. But the way I saw it was the vision was to be able to provide a location where artists, where authors can meet, where children can meet, and be provided present information and education and what's going on in the community. Because sometimes you may hear things, but you're misinformed. So we would like to inform the public, the community, by those people who happen to be professionals.
Yeah. So it's not just a library, it's also sort of a community center as well, where they go and see some resources that are available to them for growing their path as authors, right?
Yes. Yes.
Tell us about some of the youth or some of the adults, right, that have benefited from your library.
We have identified 21 children. So they range between the age of 3 and 9. We started the project September 18, the literacy project. And one of those components was to identify Latino male who were able to reach their children. The narrative is that the male is not in the picture. So we wanted to provide something slightly different where visible Latino men are in their children's life and they do reach to their children. So I think that's a component that has been left out.
That's amazing. That's amazing. How do you come up with the themes for these programs? Do you base it out on the need that you have seen personally? Do you work with a particular organization to reach that theme because of its importance?
I met with 4 gentlemen 4 or 5 months prior to engaging in the project itself. And one of them happens to be my treasurer, Wilberto Rodriguez, another gentleman by the name of Gil Amador, a gentleman called Radames Camacho, and myself. We met, and it just started to happen. We were able to identify teachers that were willing to work in this project, and God has blessed us. And at this moment, we also have had children from Chicopee and children from Holyoke. So we're trying to identify how we can serve everyone, but based on if it was city money, everything would be applicable to the city, but we would still help and educate the surrounding area.
No, and it's important to have visibility for this, for the Latino community, and to have role models to look up to, and have places that they can find information about their culture and about their literary culture. So I know that you carry a really good selection of books. What are some of the authors that you carry in the library? Well,
we have had, like recently, and I can tell you about the authors. For instance, Roberto Marquez from Mount Holyoke, educated in Harvard, he provided us a segment into the education, very well illustrated. We have Audi Arizari, who did actually her first book based on the genealogy of her family history. And we have actually different types of books, but the books themselves, they depict the 21 Latin American countries. We have them in Spanish, we have them in English. And we had, for Women's International Month, we had 3 ladies that had joined us. And I don't remember one of them, but Stephanie Morel was one of them, Wilson. The other one, it's my program director, Dolly Burr. And I apologize for not remembering the other person at this time. But we focus, we have an Estelle Gonzalez, who's Mexican descendant. She's from Vermont, and she'll be with us June 8th.
Oh, nice.
So if you have a little time, June 8th, 6 p.m., you know.
At Union Station at the library, right? Right there?
Yes, people, the Springfield Union Station, if you go inside the station, because at the beginning people thought that we were outside somewhere, and we happen to be inside of the station itself, next to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. It's a great space. It's very homey. And you mentioned Dali Vera. Dali Vera is also going to be in our show next month, so that's exciting. I like that it provides a space for authors like Dali that are local, and like the gentleman you mentioned from Mount Holyoke. It provides a space for them to get their literary works out there. And it's important for us artists and for all of us creators to have spaces where we can continue to foster our creativity and our work and feel motivated to continue creating, where what we do is valued. So I think that having that is important for you know, the development of the literary culture in Western Mass.
Yes.
Now, what is one of your favorite books in the library that you would? Can people take these books out, right? Or so if they can, what is one of your favorite books in the library that people can go and take out?
I would have to say that there's a book called Run, Nicky, Run, and that was when I was a child. And how I illustrated that particular book, a person's journey from the difficult life at hand and his transition to a better life. And I like to note that because of that book, or there are additional possibilities, that's why we stay focused and positive on engaging Latino male, breaking narratives, so-called. But Robert Marquez also, I mean, his book is not only relating to the poetry, but within that poetry, there's a lot of variables that would take me some time to identify them. But his work was spectacular.
What do you think of the intersection or the criticism that some people may have in terms of literary works to the use of Spanglish, right? That's a very common critique. Some people may see it as the evolution of the Spanish language, as it being influenced by another culture and another language, as it would be English. Some people find it that there must be this preservation and conservation of the Spanish language as is. What is your stance on that?
Sometimes you have to break the norm.
Yeah.
And the norm is not necessarily something that has to be consistent as society and the mindset of the youth changes. On a personal note related to that, I think that a person who is interested in languages should be able to incorporate their works in a fashion that will work for up-and-coming generation. So my generation may not enjoy some of the process, but we have individual process. We have to respect the individual process and learn how to adapt to changes within the system. I was fortunate. I speak a little bit of German. I went to school to take Italian for about 20 weeks, and I'm fluent, I believe, in English and in Spanish. I write both languages, but each of us has a part to play in developing everything that enhances us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes people see it a little bit differently.
Yeah. And the reason I bring this up is because we want to motivate as many people to create as possible, right? To create art, to create and write and get inspired. And sometimes people may feel that they don't have the right words or the correct vocabulary to sit and write, or their vocabulary isn't as extent as they may want. And so that feels like a limitation for some people to sit and write. So telling people not to worry about the correctness of their words, but to just create is important. There are many literary pieces that use a language that is very, like a jargon, right, of the people, and they have become great literary pieces. So so it's important to not discourage people on their limitations with language. The important thing is to create and put it out there. What would you tell the youth in the community, that want to write, that want to be a part of the Hispanic-American Library in any of their workshops?
Welcome. This is an awesome opportunity. We're able to introduce you to someone who has done the particular work. They can guide you through, what worked, what did not work. And we're actually developing, this is the first of its kind. So we're trying to be careful because if we expand, we want to take care of home base. So, we welcome, provide them the professionals who can assist them. I think we'll cut them some of their time and maybe some of the questioning that will empower them. And because it is the first, Hispanic-American Library is the first of its kind ever, we have to be able to, this is like a prototype. It hasn't happened. So if we work correctly, not only in budget documentation and developing the relationship within our areas of the community, then we may be able to do something slightly different with the same mission. Empower the community, provide them education, more recent books, not 1920s, 1940s. They have their perspective, but I think we have to change with the time, and we have to look at things slightly different. Certainly.
And are there any virtual options in the library? Virtual programs?
We're doing Zoom for a little bit in regards to responding to the community needs. We just recently, actually, we did an event for the 65th Infantry Regiment, most condecorated soldiers in Korea. We have a wall acknowledging them because without my predecessors, I can't be here.
Yeah.
And they fought very valiantly. They didn't get the recognition. So at the Hispanic-American Library, we try to bring factual, historical information for those people that may not know because of the school system or the school education. And we can only do so much. We're so busy with responsibilities. So
you certainly fill a gap in the educational system and in the availability of these resources in the community. So certainly it's needed, and I wish you the best of luck in continuing with this project and this endeavor. It certainly would help if you, the community out there, could certainly visit the Hispanic-American Library inside of Union Station in Springfield. It would certainly help the program. It would certainly help the existence of the library. And they're doing great work. Go online. What is your website?
The www.hispanic-americanlibrary.org.
Perfect. So you can go there, you can go visit the library, look at the programs that they have available, and you will certainly enjoy learning about the richness and the diversity in the culture of the Hispanics.
Yes.
So it's a great space also for authors and creators to have a place to exhibit their work, to showcase their literary creations. So certainly we thank you for bringing this to the community, and we wish you many more years to come. 1 year anniversary for the Hispanic-American Library, and we celebrate it here at Spotlight on the Arts.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Juan Falcon, for joining us. Anything that you would like to tell the audience?
Not only am I grateful for the opportunity of celebrating with you, Johnny, first year anniversary. We had a missing link, and I believe July 6th we're going to fill that missing link, which is the youth. We start with age 3 to 10, 3 to 9. Now we have a summer program for age 10 to 20, where we're going to be providing DCR, the Department of Conservation and Recreation, provide us with a grant. And we'll be doing our projects with skateboarding, personal art, and we're going to talk about safeties related to the recreational in the park. But we're also bringing music, the identification of the instruments, bombi plena, which is the most prevalent music outside of everything else that is modern nowadays. But before everything became modern, that was it.
Yeah.
So we're going to explore that, and that way we can do some historical perspective, and we can introduce them to the instruments.
Okay. So that's happening June 6th?
It's July 6th until August 12th.
July 6th to August 12th. But you mentioned something June 8th.
I'm sorry, June 8th, Estela Gonzalez, Mexican author, which will be with us at the Springfield Union Station Hispanic-American Library starting at 6 p.m.
Awesome. So there you know, another option for your entertainment here in Western Massachusetts. So once again, we thank Juan Falcon for joining us in our show, and we thank you and for bringing this to our community and celebrating 1 year of the Hispanic-American Library. And you, our audience, thank you for tuning in to one more episode of Spotlight on the Arts. My name is Johnny Miranda, and I'll see you next time.